Let's get started. Today we're going to be learning the difference between ser and estar, the verb to be in Spanish. If you don't know what it is, if you've never learned any Spanish before, the verb to be is ser o estar. So we have two. In English is one, in Spanish it's the equivalent to two different words, but they're the same verb equivalent to English. In English it would be I am, you are, he is, she is, we are, you are, they are, right? So that's the verb to be. Now we're going to learn that in Spanish. When do we use each? Well, it depends on what you want it for. What exactly are you trying to say? It's about the message that we're trying to convey. So, some students, if you've never learned any Spanish before, this is the first thing you're learning. Great place to start. If you've learned Spanish before, you probably know this verb a little bit and you probably find it a little bit confusing because it can be a bit confusing. But I think that it all boils down to two things. Knowing, like I said, when you need to use them, what is the intent, what is the message you're trying to convey, but also I have a little trick for you, which I have here on my notes, which is I have two acronyms, which you might find useful for remembering when you need one or the other. So at the end of the video, I'm going to share these two acronyms with you, which might make it a bit easier to remember which one you should use when. Well, we're going to start with ser, the verb ser. For that one, S-E-R, ser, for that one we're going to need to conjugate it. So let's go over the pronouns, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they in Spanish. Yo soy, tú eres, usted es, él es, ella es, nosotros somos, ustedes son, ellos son, ellas son. All right? So that's with the pronouns. That's how you conjugate it in the present tense, present simple for the verb ser. So how do we use them, or when do we use them? So we have 5 different scenarios, 5 different types of situations, broadly speaking, where we're going to need them. The first one is going to be permanent or essential characteristics. These can be divided into 3: identity, origin, or profession. Identity. Ella es María. She is María. That's her identity. That's who she is. Number 2, for origin. Yo soy de Costa Rica. I am from Costa Rica. That's where I'm from. That's my place of origin. So for origin, we use it as well. And finally, for profession. Él es profesor. He is a teacher, right? It's a profession. It's a job. It's a career. Él es médico. He's a doctor. So there you have it. Those are the 3. Let's continue. Number 2, descriptions. For physical attributes or personality traits. Physical attributes with, like, let's say, el carro es rojo. El carro, the car, es rojo, is red. The car is red. El carro es rojo. It's a physical attribute. We're talking about the color of the car. Then we have personality traits. Obviously, we're talking about people. Well, maybe we could also talk about animals. But ella es muy amable. Amable, friendly, kind. What is amable? Yeah, amable is, I would say we can translate it to kind, gentle, friendly. I think the translation of it's gentle or kind. However, the use of it is more like friendly. Anyways, ella es muy amable. She is very friendly. We're talking about a personality trait. So we use ser, which in this case conjugates to es, right? Don't forget that in Spanish, the verbs do need to change a little bit. In English, it's not exactly that alien, the concept that you need to change verbs, right? If we're talking about I eat, changes into he eats, right? You add an extra S. So it's a little bit of a change. You're already familiar with the concept of conjugating verbs, of changing verbs. If it's in the past, you're going to change the verb, right? You're going to say I ate, she ate, right? So eat, ate is the same. In Spanish, we do that. It's just that in Spanish, let's just say we do it a little bit more. That makes sense? We do a bit more. There is a bit more changes from person to person, and that's what we're learning today. Number 3, time and dates. Hours, days, months. So for hours, son las 3 de la tarde. It's 3 in the afternoon. Son las 3 de la tarde, right? So we're using son, which is from ser. Son las 3. So we're trying to say the day of the week. Es lunes. Hoy es lunes. Today is Monday. Today's not Monday. What day is today? Today's Thursday. But, okay, let's do it for Thursday. Hoy es jueves. Today is Thursday. For months, same thing. We are, what are we right now? June? Yeah, we're in June. Es junio. Es junio. So there you have it. Number 4. Number 4 is for events, as in like where the location of events, where something is taking place, where something is going to happen. We could say la fiesta es en mi casa. La fiesta es en mi casa. The party is at my house. So, la fiesta es en mi casa. Es en mi casa. La fiesta, the party, es, verb to be, en mi casa. In my house, at my house. So that's that one. Not too complicated, but very important. If you want to make sure that you get to the party that you've been invited to, you need to make sure you use the right verb. And the last one, number 5, possession, to indicate possession. Like if you wanted to say, la canción es de Marc Anthony. La canción, the song, is, verb to be, de Marc Anthony. La canción es, the song is, de Marc Anthony, of Marc Anthony. So, well, in English, you would completely invert the whole sentence. You would say, this is Marc Anthony's song, or this song belongs to Marc Anthony. It's entirely different, but that is the structure we would use in Spanish. La canción, the song, is de Marc Anthony. We're trying to convey the message of possession, of belonging, right? You could say, let's say, where is, here. El té es mío. The tea is mine. El té es mío. Cheers, by the way. A little bit of tea. So that's it for ser. Just 5. We're going to work with these 5. These are the 5 that you need to remember. 5 different situations, 5 different occasions when you're going to need to use ser in Spanish. Now, when do we use estar? When do we use the other one? Estar, like we did with ser, we're going to go over all of the pronouns in Spanish in simple present. Yo estoy. Tú estás. Usted está. Él está. Ella está. Nosotros estamos. Ustedes están. Ellos están. Ellas están. So that's how we conjugate it. So let's get into it. Let's see how we're going to use it, when we're going to use it. Number 1, temporary states or conditions, like emotions, health. So emotions. Estoy feliz. I am happy. Estoy feliz. So this is where we start to see the difference. Now we don't use ser, we don't say soy feliz, we say estoy feliz. Now, you could say, this is probably a bit of an interesting example, because you could say soy feliz, but in that case you're talking about your whole life. You're talking about your life happiness, your overall happiness, throughout your life. Soy feliz, soy una persona feliz. I am a happy person. Soy feliz, this one works with both, but only if you are talking in general, in like a very broad spectrum of your whole life. If you're just talking about right now, like right now you just had a very nice chocolate, so you're happy about that. Estoy feliz, right? Estoy. Because this is for temporary states, right? It changes. You are happy right now, but you may not be happy tomorrow or in an hour or two if, the chocolate finished and you're no longer happy, because that's a sad thing. I don't know why I pick chocolate. It's not like I eat a lot of chocolate. What do I eat a lot of? I eat a lot of fried chicken, which is probably not good. I do. So that one. Let's pick another emotion. Let's pick another one. Sadness. Él está triste. Él está. He is. Triste. Sad. He is sad. Él está triste. Now for health. I mentioned health, didn't I? So how do we use it when it comes to health? Okay, well. Estoy enfermo. Enfermo. Sick. Ill. Not well. I'm ill. Yo estoy enfermo. I am ill. Tú estás enfermo. Tú estás enfermo. You are ill, unwell, sick. Tú estás enfermo. Estás. Once again. Because, well, it's temporary. It changes, right? Hopefully you get better. So, that's why. Now let's talk about location, because that's point number 2, location. Now, location, be careful, because we did talk about location before with ser, right? We talked about location as in like where an event is going to happen, the location of an event. So it was event, location of event. But now this one is just location. So let's see, what do we mean by that? Well, when it comes to location, we're not talking about an event that happens. We're talking about a place, a thing, right? Where something is located. A school, la escuela. La escuela está en la ciudad. La escuela está en la ciudad. The school is in the city. El gimnasio está cerca de mi casa. The gym, el gimnasio, is cerca, nearby, close. De mi casa, my house, from my house. So the gym is near my house. La biblioteca, this is a really popular one. I learned recently that in American textbooks to learn Spanish, apparently it's very common that one of the first phrases you learn is about asking, where is the library? So, if you're American and you've learned that, do you remember that? ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? So there you have it, está. That's why you're asking, ¿dónde está la biblioteca? That's why you're not saying, ¿dónde es la biblioteca? We didn't say that, we say, ¿dónde está? Or we could simply answer it. We can say, la biblioteca está allá. Over there. Allá. La biblioteca, the library, está. Is. Or the question, by the way, because I forgot to translate it in case you don't know, in case you haven't learned it, right? ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? That question I was talking about. It means where is the library? Number three is for ongoing actions, things that are taking place in the present time. I could say, estoy enseñando español. Yo estoy enseñando español. I am teaching Spanish. So this verb to be right here, we don't use ser, we use estar. Yo estoy enseñando. I am teaching. Estoy hablando. I am talking. We could say estoy bailando. I am dancing. Ella está bailando. Ellos están bailando. They are dancing. So for ongoing actions, for things that are taking place in the moment, we use the verb to be estar. Number 4, this one we call it the result of actions. La puerta, the door, está cerrada. The door is closed. It's the result of an action. We've closed the door. So now it is closed. La puerta está cerrada. La comida, the food, la comida está lista. The food is ready. We've prepared it, right? We've gone through the process of preparing it. So there is a result. The result is that it's ready now. So, la comida está lista. The food is ready. La comida está lista. Okay, so there you have it. 5 cases you can use for ser. 4 cases you can use for estar. This is your guide to get into the world of using the verb to be in Spanish, ser and estar. Now, as I promised, 2 acronyms that are going to help you remember a little bit easier, right? Because this is a long list to keep it at the top of your head. Obviously, review it, practice it. The more you practice it, at the beginning you are going to need to remember these cases in your head. But slowly, they become a part of your vocabulary, they become a part of your daily use, and then slowly you'll be able to not have to think, oh, is it this one, is it that one? But before that happens, and to make the process a little easier and a little faster for you, as I promised, we have 2 acronyms that we can use to help you a little bit, to make it easier. So let's look at these acronyms. So the acronym for ser is doctor, as in like the medical professional, doctor, D-O-C-T-O-R. Each letter obviously stands for a different case, a different use. So doctor, what does it stand for? D for descriptions. Ella es alta. She's tall. Ella es alta. Next letter is O. O, what does O stand for? O stands for occupation. Ella es médico. Ella es médico. She's a doctor. C stands for characteristics. El cielo es azul. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. Next letter, T is for time. Right, we talked about it. If you're asking about the hour, about the time. Son las 3. It's 3. Son las 3 de la tarde. It's 3 in the afternoon. Another O. This O is for origin. Ella es de España. She is from Spain. And finally, the R. The R is for relationships. R for relationships. Like, ellos son amigos. They're friends. So, doctor, D-O-C-T-O-R. Each one of them might help you make it a little bit easier to remember when you're supposed to use the verb ser in Spanish. The acronym for estar. The acronym for estar would be place. P-L-A-C-E, place. P stands for position. El vaso está en la mesa. El vaso está en la mesa. The cup is on the table. L is for location. Estoy en la casa. I'm at home. Yo estoy en la casa. I am at home. A is for action. Remember, we talked about this. Ongoing actions. Estoy hablando. I'm talking. Ella está estudiando. She is studying. Right? It's an action. C is for condition. As in like, your health condition. Pablo está enfermo. Pablo is sick. Pablo is unwell. Pablo está enfermo. And finally, the E. The E is for emotions. We also talked about this. E for emotion. María está feliz. María is happy. María está triste. María is sad. So there you have it. 2 acronyms you can use. For ser, we use doctor. For estar, we use place. Right? And each one of these letters means something. How do I recommend you do this? What I recommend you do to try to memorize these acronyms and what they stand for, write them down on a piece of paper. Write doctor, going down, not going sideways, but going down. And then next to them, write what the letter stands for, and then try to come up with examples of your own. If you want at the beginning, you can use the examples I've given you in this video, but I would highly recommend you come up with your own examples, because this is going to make it more deeply ingrained into your memory, right? Because you've come up with the examples yourself. You've had to go through the thinking process, and that is how you start building, these connections in your head to the concepts, and it's going to be easier to recall it later on when you need it. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Very happy to be back making some videos. Let me know if you have any questions, if you need any help, and I'll see you next time. Nos vemos.